By the divine grace of Jagannatha Shri Jnanakshi Rajeshwari and by the divine compassion of all forms of Paramatma in this world, we are once again here seated today to continue our study of the Sundara Kandam of Valmiki Ramayana, the Adi Kavi Valmiki. The different experiences which we go through in life, man goes through in life different types of experiences. After the development of the intellect, we start understanding certain amount of things which are repeated, which seem to be consistent, some prompted by nature, some after application of the intelligence. Some prompted by nature, for example, food and all the nature's calls. If these things are all absolutely natural, they continue to happen as it is, but certain actions, for example, social behavior, whatever is taught to us by somebody. Remember this one, difference is, nothing is taught to us and something is taught to us. So those portions which are taught to us, we imbibe them. It was not our intention. As a child, there are so many things which we naturally do. For example, playing is natural for a child. If a child sees water, then splashing the hand in the water is a natural behavior of the child. It's a natural behavior. If it could be a child of here, of our country, or anywhere also in the world, if a child is there beside water, it will automatically splash its hand. If there is a doll or a toy or something which is slightly making very nicely tinkling sounds, the child would like to hear and will keep on playing with that. But this is natural behavior. Natural behavior is different from inculcated behavior. There is a marked difference between the two. Natural behavior, the response to anything which is natural, it's like a child being left without being taught. You don't teach the child anything in the form of articulated language, in the form of code of conduct. You don't teach the child anything. The child will behave naturally, and in this nature, that part of the nature of the child will be prominent, which is powerful, and it will make the child to do the actions. So the child has already got some input inside. The child has already got some input inside, just like a cub. For example, a cub of an animal or a calf. The calf has been given birth and the mother is away. And if the mother is not there beside the calf in the next few days of its development, automatically the calf will stand up. The calf will stand up and it will start looking for food. So these are all natural behaviors. Nobody, a human being is absolutely not necessary to teach an animal how it should behave. There is no need for a human being at all in this world to teach how an animal should behave. Has any one of you taken an animal to school? To school and taught the animal, unless otherwise you want it to do something for you. Just like dogs are trained, elephants are trained, horses are trained, only for the sake of human utility. That is the truth. Only for the sake of human utility we modify the behavior of animals. Human has got the capacity to modify the behavior of animals. But if you don't intervene, the animals will behave naturally. Therefore, animals do not have a need of your knowledge. It is 100% truth. Suddenly appears mysterious. Oh, animals don't require us, is it? Plants don't require us, is it? That is the truth. That is the barest truth. They don't require us. But we require them. See the difference? And the way we behave is as though they require us. The way human behaves is as though they require us. See, this plant was dying. I only looked after this plant. This plant was dying. I only looked after the plant. I only gave water to the plant. That's why it came up. This Small cub was there, it was dying. I only looked after that cub. If human intervention is not there, nature has got its beautiful way of looking after things. So this mystery of the human behavior is because of the freedom of conduct for the human being. The freedom of conduct is there, and this freedom, if it is not regulated through study of the scriptures, if this freedom of the human being is not regulated through the guidelines of proper education, it will also be like an animal only. I have no doubt about it. If the human being is not guided, that's called as vidya abhyasa. That's called vidya abhyas. This vidya abhyas is not there for any other living being in the world other than a human being. Why the vidya abhyas is necessary? Because he has got freedom. The human being has the freedom to do something else also. He can do something else also. And if a human being is allowed to do something else, normally it will be disastrous to itself as well as the world. Therefore, the sense of organization, sense of social living, the sense of order, law and order, all this has come only because man has freedom. If man had no freedom, then law and order is not required. He also would behave just like animals he would behave. It's because man has freedom. And in order to regulate that freedom in the right direction for the maintenance of the world in a beautiful, orderly manner, giving happiness to everybody, that's why we study morals, we study ethics, we study the scriptures. Then comes the next step beyond. What is that? Knowing the purpose of being itself. Just by doing all these things what we are doing, still we have not understood the purpose of life. Then goes deeper into it, then only we start thinking, what exactly is the meaning of all that we are doing here? All these matters will be dealt in this beautiful treatise. Just like you see the greatest thinker, the greatest scholar ever in this world, Bhagavan Vedavyasa Rishi. Now, he himself is dejected. He is dejected and he went to Narada Rishi, met him and asked him, why is it like this? So Narada Rishi has beautifully narrated his own life experiences and prompted Vedavyasa Rishi, the knower of all informative knowledge. He knows about informative, but still he does not have the highest knowledge. So Narada Rishi has instructed him, you go ahead and sing the glory of Paramatma in detail. And in order to bring the glory of Paramatma, this small, the prelude, it's called preface. This preface, 4 words is that the incident of Ashwathama which we read yesterday. So we'll continue to read now. And that was in the Bhagavata Mahapuranam. What we are seeing in the Sundarakandam is the reaching of Hanuman. Hanuman has reached Lanka, you already know, and then he has confronted the Lankini. He has confronted Lankini. And Lankini has been confronted, Lankini has given, that is the spirit of Lanka. The spirit of Lanka has appeared before Hanuman in the form of a living being. And then she is speaking to Hanuman, who are you and why have you come here? And Hanuman is asking her, I have come here that I will tell you everything, but why are you so harsh and cruel to me? Hanuman has put a question. Hanumad vachanam shrutva Lanka sakam rupini Uvacha vachanam kruddha Parusham pavanatmajam Aham rakshasarajasya Ravanasya mahatmanaha Ajna pratiksha durdharsha Rakshami nagarim imam न शक्यं मामवज्ञाय प्रवेष्टुं नगरीमिमाम् अद्य प्राणैः परित्यक्तः स्वप्स्यसे निहतो मया अहं हि नगरी लङ्का स्वयमेव प्लवङ्गमा सर्वतः परिरक्षामि अतस्ते कथितं मया लङ्काया वचनं श्रुत्वा हनुमान् मारुतात्मजः यत्नवान् सहर्षश्रेष्ठः स्थितः शैल इवापरः सतां स्त्रीरूपविकृतां दृष्ट्वा वानरपुङ्गवः आबभाषेऽथ मेधावी सत्त्ववान् प्लवगर्षभः. When Hanuman asked Lanka or Lankini, Hanuman is speaking to Lanka, the spirit of Lanka. Irritated to hear the counter question of Hanuman, the aforesaid Lanka, who was able to change her form at will, spoke harshly as follows to the offspring of the wind god. Always remaining at the beck and call of the high-souled Ravana, the ruler of ogres and difficult to overpower, I guard this city. She was irritated naturally when a person is of by nature, irritable nature. It's called as irritable nature. Nature itself is called as irritable nature. And that is where the ego resides. Irritable nature, people have the ego residing inside, which cannot stand anything other than speech about itself. It cannot stand anything about itself. So immediately when Hanuman asks, why are you so cruel? Who the hell are you to ask me? How dare you ask me such a question? So that is how lose the temper, because it is the irritable nature of. So irritated to hear the counter question of Hanuman, the aforesaid Lanka, who was able to change her form at will, spoke harshly as follows to the offspring of the wind god, always remaining at the beck and call of the high-souled Ravana, the ruler of ogres and difficult to overpower. I guard this city. It is not possible to make one's way into this city disregarding me. Overthrown by me and deprived of your life breath, you will lie down in eternal sleep today. In truth, I am the city of Lanka in person, O monkey, and guard it on all sides. Hence, such harsh words have been spoken to you by me. Hearing the words of Lanka, that jewel among the monkeys, Hanuman, sprung from the loins of the wind god, stood like another mountain, standing on the Trikuta mountain, full of agility, to give her a sound thrashing if she dared to assail him. So Hanuman is now slowly tensed, slowly built up the power in his muscles now. That is, you normally you summon the power. You see the martial artists, you see the different movements they make before actually they go into combat. Before a martial artist goes into a combat, actually what they do is they summon the power from the cosmos. They take some deep breaths, different types of breathing and different types of hand movements, and they bring the power up. What is sleeping, they awaken that power. Similarly, Hanuman is now ready. He has awakened all the power in himself, full of agility, to give her a sound thrashing if she dared to assail him. Seeing that monster in the form of a woman, that bull among the monkeys, a veritable jewel among monkeys, who was full of intelligence and courage, then spoke to her as follows. Drakshyami nagarim lanka satta prakara toranam ityarthamiha sampraptaha param kautuhalam hime vanani upavananiha सर्वतो गृहमुख्यानि द्रष्टुमागमनं हि मे तस्य तद्वचनं श्रुत्वा लंका सा कामरूपिणी भूय एव पुनर्वाक्यं बभाषे परुषाक्षरम् माम् अनिर्जित्य दुर्बुद्धे राक्षसेश्वर पालिताम् न शक्यं ह्यद्यते द्रष्टुं पुरीयं वानराधम ततः स हरिशार्दूलः तामुवाच निशाचरीं दृष्ट्वा पुरीम् इमां भद्रे पुनर्यास्ये यथागतम् ततः कृत्वा महानादम् सा वै लंका भयंकरम् तलेन वानरश्रेष्ठम् ताडयामास वेगिता ततः स हरिशार्दूलो लंकया ताडितो भृशम् ननाद सुमहानादम् वीर्यवान् मारुतात्मजः ततः संवर्तयामास वामहस्तस्य सोऽङ्गुली मुष्टिना अभिजघानैनां हनुमान् क्रोधमूर्छितः स्त्री चेति मन्यमानेन नातिक्रोधः स्वयं कृतः सा तु तेन प्रहारेण विह्वलांगी निशाचरी पपात सहसा भूमौ विकृताननदर्शना ततस्तु हनुमान् वीरः दृष्ट्वा विनिपातिताम् कृपां चकार तेजस्वी मन्यमानस्त्रियं च ताम्. Now the confrontation has taken place. She has repeatedly once again taunted Hanuman. She is speaking cruel words and Hanuman is speaking sublime words. Hanuman is addressing her as a "Oh lady, oh honorable lady" and everything, and she is saying you filthy monkey. All this she is addressing him. I should like to see the city of Lanka with its places, defensive wall and archways. I have come here for this very purpose, for great is my curiosity in this behalf. Indeed, my visit to this place is purposed to explore the forests, gardens and groves of Lanka and to see the foremost of its mansions on all sides. Hearing the aforesaid reply of Hanuman, the notorious Lanka, who was able to take any form at will, once more uttered the following harsh words: "Without overcoming me, protected as I am by Ravana, the rule of ogres, O monkey of perverted mind, it is surely not possible for you to see the city today, O the lowest of monkeys." Thereupon, that tiger among the monkeys said to that ogress, "Having seen this city, O good woman, I shall go back as I came." Raising a loud and frightful cry, Lanka then actually struck with impetuosity that jewel among the monkeys with the palm of her hand. Immediately she gives a blow. She gives a solid blow to Hanuman. She is a Rakshasi. She is having solid power. So she gives one blow to Hanuman. Smitten violently by Lanka, that valiant offspring of the wind god, a veritable tiger among the monkeys, thereupon uttered a very high-pitched roar. Immediately, Hanuman has also uttered a high-pitched roar. Overcome with anger, the aforesaid Hanuman then closed the fingers of his left and smote her with his fist. You have used your right, take it from my left. So here he gives only the left hand. No violent anger, however. See, no violent anger, however. He has not lost his temper. He does not lose his temper. He uses his temper. See the difference, no? On losing the temper and using the temper. When one loses one's temper, biological functions also are disturbed. Psychological functions are also disturbed. Everything is disturbed in the body. One loses one's temper. When one uses one's temper, like when we want to correct a child, we use the temper as though we are angry, as though we are very, very harsh with it. But we should not be harsh with the child. So similarly, here Hanuman has not lost his temper. He is using the temper. He says, not violent anger, however, was exhibited by him of his own accord, inasmuch as he looked upon her as a woman. Seeing that she is a woman, no? So Hanuman does not want to show anger on her. Her limbs having been overpowered by that blow, that ogress fell precipitately to the ground, displaying her ugly features. So she fell down. Seeing her prostrated, the heroic and noble Hanuman showed compassion to her, considering her to be a woman, one belonging to the weaker sex. Tato vai bhrishamudvigna Lanka sa gadgadaksharam Uvachagarvitam vakyam Hanumantam plavangamam Prasida sumahabaho Trayasva harisattama. This is the request. She is requesting Hanuman now. She is beaten now. So that's why I am reading it slowly. She is requesting Hanuman something. Prasida sumahabaho Trayasva harisattama Samaye saumya tishthanti Sattvavanto mahabala Aham tu nagari lanka Swayameva plavangama Nirjitaham tvaya veera Vikramena mahabala Idam cha tathyam shrunu me Bruvantya vai harishvara Swayam swayam bhuvadattam Varadanam yatha mama Yada tvam vanarah kaschit Vikramadvashamanaye Tada tvaya hi vigneyam Rakshasam bhayamagatam Sahi me samaya saumya Praptodyatava darshana Swayambhu vihitas satyo Natasyasti vyatikramaha Sita nimittam rajnastu Ravanasya duratmanaha Rakshasam chaiva sarvesham Vinashas samupagataha Tat pravishya harisreshtha Puri पालिताम् विधत्स सर्वकार्याणि यानि यानीह वाञ्छसि प्रविश्य शापोपहतां हरीश्वर पुरीं शुभां राक्षसमुख्यपालिताम् यदृच्छया त्वं जनकात्मजां सतीं विमार्ग सर्वत्र गतो यथा सुखम् जय जय श्रीमद् रामायणे वाल्मीकिये आदि काव्ये सुंदरकांडे तृतीयः. We will pause here, continue tomorrow.